the strength of the trend prior to the pattern formation. All right, so again, this is what the trend is. It's 2 bars, so it's kind of a weak trend going into the start of the pattern, and then you can see that pattern developed over time. As far as uniformity is concerned, this means the excuse me. Excuse me there a second. The uniformity means the even spacing or turning points that touch support and resistance line. So you can see that this is a 6-bar rating. Consider that above average. You can see that the market did not spend a lot of investing reasons problems. There's plenty of liquidity, so the volatility is just reactions to the news as opposed to thin markets that jump all over the place and make spikes and make gaps. So this is what our quality indicator looks like. So it's looking at this pattern and seeing that we have a low clarity score of 4. Then finally we get to the breakout pattern, and that measures the momentum that was in the market when it finally broke through a resistance point. So you can see that it's maximum 10 bar, telling you that it's strong momentum. Now you have to remember that Autochartist is a real powerful tool in identifying these patterns. It's not necessarily, it isn't actually a trading system. So you still have to go in and determine your stop points and your exits. Although we give you suggestions on where the market can go to, for example, here's the target zone or the forecast zone. You can see that it may go down, test the bottom end of it. It may penetrate back up, and it may even go through it. So that's where knowing the type of trader that you are, whether you're a swing trader or a target price trader, those are the personal preferences that you have to use to determine what you want to get out of the program. Autochartist is going to identify these setups, and it's going to let you know what's taking place in the marketplace, and take you almost to the moment of impact where these markets move, and the rest is up to you depending on what your trading style is. Okay, now that being said, we're going to take a look at the rest of this platform. Okay, as we go down the screen, we'll see that we have on the left the completed patterns and on the right the emerging patterns. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look at emerging patterns first, because I think that the markets start out with emerging patterns. In other words, they give you an idea of what can happen in the marketplace. So, for example, if we click on the Australian dollar Swiss franc, it's going to tell you that we have a pattern here that's emerging. We see that the market is inside this channel on a 15-minute chart. Okay, we know that it's been in there for about 43 candlesticks, and that we're looking for a continuation move. But we're not sure yet. That's why we have a gray arrow. We know that based on this initial trend, which was down in the beginning, and this particular high, which was made recently, that the market is starting to develop a bias to the downside. But this direction is going to be known and changed when a breakout takes place. So right now, this is an emerging pattern. Should be on your list if you're a Australian dollar Swiss franc trader and you're waiting for it to make a particular move. You can see that the uniformity is pretty strong in the clarity. And now it's just a matter of, you can see the breakout area is showing nothing, because we're waiting for this completed pattern to take place and give us an indication of where this market is likely to move. Okay. Now, what's attractive about a emerging pattern is that Once a pattern is identified and say an alert goes off and that particular market reaches this list, a swing trader, a trader who really likes to sell resistance and buy support, may want to take advantage of this type of pattern, because once we see that a top is in and we have a couple of bars down and Autochartist posts this particular market to the list, a trader can be as aggressive or as passive as he wants to. So a swing trader may want to take advantage of this move, looking for a retracement or looking for a drive back into support or perhaps through it. Remember, the rotation of these markets is going to be from emerging to completed. So that's what you want to watch for. You want to watch for the whole complete cycle. You want to watch for emerging patterns. You want to study to see how this market is working, and then you want to take advantage of it either as a swing trader or more passively wait for it to become a completed pattern, like this Australian dollar, US dollar pattern that we saw earlier. So that's the rotation, is that you have this emerging pattern in a completed pattern. If we look at this particular pattern, this is completed. It's a Canadian dollar Swiss franc. You can see that Autochartist has identified this descending triangle, which is a flat support point and a downsloping resistance point. So once Autochartist has identified this as a descending triangle, it becomes completed when the market breaks through the support point. Okay? Now when it's emerging, again, you're not going to know where it's going to go. You have an idea where it's going to go, but once it breaks, Autochartist then puts up this gray box, which gives you an idea where the market can go. So you can see that it'll tell you here the forecast zone is from to 77.99 to 76.74. So not only you see it in terms of numbers, but you also see it in terms of the box. Okay. At this time, direction is pointing down. Again, it's a continuation move, because in the beginning of the pattern right here, the market was going down, and while it did its retracement inside this descending triangle, finally it broke out in the direction of the initial trend, and that's why we have the continuation move. So what you're going to get throughout these two screens, you're going to get emerging and you're going to get completed patterns. You're going to get the rotation between one or the other. Depending on how you want to look at the market, it's basically, again, your personal preference. So, for example, if we wanted to, we could go to the new search section here and say, for example, we wanted to look at only, we wanted to filter the screen to what we want to look at. Okay, you have the opportunity here to select any time period that you want: 15, 240 minute, 30, 60 minute, all intraday. That's going to show you all those above points. And you're also going to have the ability to look at end of the day, which is 1440 minutes. Okay, you have the ability to select one symbol that you want. For example, if you just type E in there, you're going to see all the symbols that come up that are related to the euro: euro Australian, euro CAD, euro Swiss, euro pound, euro yen, and you can insert whatever you want inside there, and that'll create an individual list. Okay, then you have the ability to name your search right here, so that you can go back to that search anytime you want to and know exactly what's in there. And then you also have the ability to do an advanced search. And in the advanced search, we'll be able to set things like price range. It's not that important for the currency markets that you set a price range, but some people that use the program for equities like to set price ranges. You also have direction, whether you have a personality that likes bullish markets or bearish markets, or maybe a combination of both. You have the ability to select that. And you also have the ability to select whether you want to see a continuation, a reversal, or a combination of both. Now these topics are going to be covered at later webinars, so if you like this webinar and you like the program, I think over the next 3 weeks we'll be covering more specific ways to use this. Right now this is just an introduction to the tools. Okay, now we also have a filter here called the minimum pattern length. Okay, some theorists believe that the longer the market is in a pattern, the stronger the particular breakout is going to be. So others believe that they want to be more active, so they set the pattern at a smaller minimum length. So you have the ability to use the slide bar and select any time period you want. Now, through study and experimentation, just like any indicator that you use, conventional indicators such as stochastics, RSIs, moving averages, things like that, it's possible that you're going to set it too high and you end up with no signals, and then it's possible to set it too low and end up with too many signals. So through study and experimentation, you're going to find that bullpen that you like to trade, because you really have, when it comes to trading, my experience is that you have to have a certain amount of opportunities to make your systems work. So you don't want to make things too tight and you don't want to make things too loose, but you want to have enough opportunities to take advantage of a great system that you may have. So it's kind of like playing cards. You want to have, you can play a certain amount of hands before you know if you're a good card player or not. All right, now we also have the ability to look at those quality indicators I talked about before, and that includes the minimum clarity. As I showed you before, you could go to that I button